What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It's JT Best Ball here. Got a little treat tonight. We got the show's first guest. As y'all know, I am formerly a DraftKings guy. Been all about the DraftKings this year. Decided to start streaming. We're switching over to the big boy Underdog world. So we brought in a guy named Mr. Hartman. I think it's Hartman Fantasy Football. Is that the name of your channel?
Yep. Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Oh no, anytime, man, anytime. We got a true underdog bro here to help walk us through and help get our feet wet more. If y'all watch best ball streams, y'all see Mr. Hartman in all of them. I know he's in the comments every one I watch, dang near.
Yeah, professional chat rat.
What do you want to do, man? I know you said you'll stick around for two. I tell you what, I'm like 40 drafts into the $20 on DK, so I haven't done any BBMs yet. I think it's only right that my first guest, we do our first BBM tonight. But let's warm up
All
with
right.
something else. I know the puppy field already. I was watching you and was it you and Who Hames earlier that was doing the eliminator?
Yeah, we did two eliminators and then a schnauzer.
All right, you want to hop in one of these and see if it feels? I know sometimes they're not feeling.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do a
Yeah.
30-second clock. I'm still getting used to the 20-second clocks, so we'll see if it
Um
feels. If not, we can hop in something else. Only five more. Y'all come hop in with us.
uh I'll post it in the Discord too quick just so maybe they'll fill it.
Sure, sure. Appreciate that. But yeah, I've done a couple of 20-second puppies, and whenever I'm doing them off stream, it's fine, because I got my 100% focus and everything, and I'm planning out my picks and stuff like that as it is. Anyways,
Mhm.
and eventually I'll start doing some more on streams, but I don't know. I figure I want to get some more streams under my belt first before I try to do the $20 one.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
not
yeah.
$20 one. I'm sorry, 20-second one.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah. It can be a little bit, especially if you're doing it like on stream. It can be
Yeah,
pretty
that's what I
hard
was
to
saying.
like keep up. Yeah. Yeah. Like even off stream, I go if you're used to the 30-second, it can be a little bit tough, but I think it's like once you get kind of used to the little pockets and everything, it's
Yeah,
real easy. And it's pretty nice being able to fit it in like so quick, like with the 20-second clocks, but while you're still getting used to it, yeah, 30 seconds the way to go.
yeah, of course. I know. I think I've done maybe like four of the 20-second ones total. They were all puppies, and it wasn't on stream or nothing. It was just me, and yeah, only once it caught me off guard, and I was in that. Who do I pick here? And luckily, though, I had like a couple players queued up, so it just took whichever one I had queued at least. So
Oh, that's not too bad at least. Yeah, I was I was streaming yesterday. I was trying to do some like puppies, and then I had one. I had like a Miami double stack, and I was doing 20 seconds. I was just reading the chat and stuff, and then I flipped back and I just passed on Tua, and then I'm like, oh, like he's gone. Like long turn, Waddle guy got him. I'm like, damn, like that one hurt.
yeah. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for coming
Yep.
on with
So
me, man. We'll do this. We'll hit up this eliminator. Hopefully, we'll get a couple more people soon. I guess if it takes too long, I was gonna stream some eliminators last night, and me and another guy who watches my streams a lot, he tried to jump in them with me, and man, we sat here for like almost 17 minutes waiting on the sucker to fill, and I ended up just getting out and doing some puppies, and then just cut the first 17 minutes of deadness off of my stream this morning.
yeah, it can be tough sometimes with the eliminator. I think with the puppy close, it's maybe a little easier, but I do think with a lot of these side contests too, that's the only downside of Underdog having the two clock options is like some of the ones that feel a little slower, they feel like kind of extra slow. Because I think people favor the 20-second in general, but then also, like, if it's a contest like this that feels a little slower, there's two different lobbies trying to fill at the same time, right? So it just
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
it take
exactly.
even longer. Yeah. So
Because
so in
last year,
Eliminator, or go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say in Eliminator. So like, how are you kind of like? how are you changing up your strategy, or are you playing it pretty similar? Like, what do you go for in
No,
Eliminator?
I've definitely noticed. I've only done one eliminator that was a live draft. Originally had started up like about 15 or 16 slows, and I think about four of them have finished already. The rest of them are, getting into pretty late rounds though. The running backs, man, I have noticed that like if you don't have a couple running backs that you like by like round 6 or 7 that you feel good about those early weeks getting you points, it gets scary.
Yeah, yeah, and I think in this too, like especially if I'm at the back end of the board, I really actually like starting like double anchor. I think that can be like pretty good in here because like I think me and Huhanes were talking about it a little bit, but like if it's kind of like if you're at the back, right? And we did one we got like Genty Henry. It's like you get them close to where they go in all the other contests, and you
Hmm.
kind of see in that rounds like 3 through 6 range, you see all these guys like pushed way up higher than they go. So it's like you're not really losing value on your guys where other people are kind of picking maybe a little bit lesser players higher than they really should go just because of the format.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah,
um
so
I think it's from the ones off the top of my head that I remember. Not necessarily Genty. I don't know. I'm not that in on him this year. I mean, I know he's an amazing talent, but I don't know. I guess I want to see it first. But I've liked some of my teams from the early spot where you get like Bijan. I like Bijan a lot this year. I actually took Bijan even over Barkley in a puppy last night. I had the third pick. Second pick actually went JJ, and then I took Bijan at 3. I don't know. I'm kind of a go with my gut guy. I mean, I watch a lot of tape and stuff like that too, and do my research and all that. But at the end of the day, I just kind of go with my gut on guys. Sometimes it pays off
oh
and
yeah.
I'm right as the season plays out. Last year I faded Barkley way more than I should have. I was talking about it with someone the other day. It's like looking back on it, I don't know if you were in on Barkley, had a lot of him faded him or what last year, but looking back on it, it was so freaking obvious, right? Like Barkley's an amazing talent, a team with a good old line, likes to run the ball a lot, but yet I was one of the fools who talked myself into, oh, but Jalen's gonna steal all his touchdowns.
Yeah, I think I had like just over 8, like I had like 10% Barkley, which is fine, I wish I would add more. But I think a lot of it too, like it's easy in hindsight to say like, "Oh yeah, you missed on it." But like historically, running backs going to a new team haven't really done too well. And like yeah, the situation was great, but Barkley was also not looking as great those last couple of years. And now we kind of see maybe that was more a product of the Giants. But
Yeah.
I I don't think fading him was like oh you missed like yeah, the way it worked out it seems so clear and obvious, but I don't think the process was that terrible to fade him going in. And Jaden did. I mean, Jalen Hurts still did get what, like 13 rushing touchdowns. It's just that the offense as a whole scored like 35. So
Yeah, it was amazing.
yeah, yeah. I don't think anyone expected that their rushing attack to be like that potent. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's not like it was the worst process. It like maybe like a full fade on him. Maybe it got a little overblown with him being like, oh, he's kind of washed or something. But I don't think it's like terrible process to have faded him last year.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
cool. You're starting.
I'll hop back over there. All right, where we end up with? 3. We can do what
3.
you want at 3. I'm assuming Barkley or Robinson since we're both kind of on the running back train.
Yeah, that's what I would lean to is Barkley or Robinson. I
Okay,
think in this format that I lean a lot more towards RB in the first round, especially if you can get one of those top 3 guys.
exactly. Yeah, me too.
Mhm. Um,
And I think I wouldn't mind. Well, we're in the front end, but the back end you were talking about, just grabbing 2 running backs back there. I'm not that in on Genty, but maybe like a McCaffrey and somebody else or whatever. I know the first couple, I told you I had a bunch of slow ones, and so the first couple, I went into it thinking, okay, I'll build it similar as I would anything else, and grab me a Nico and Brian Thomas or whatever, at the end of the first, second there, and yeah, those are the ones that like I get to like the sixth and seventh round, and I'm like, these running backs are gross for my
You're like, am
number
I
two.
am I really about to grab DeAndre Swift in the sixth round here? Like,
All right, so Bijan it is.
yeah, Bijan's good. Yeah, and that feels good. And I think like on the turn we might get a receiver that we like maybe we get a lad or like AJ Brown Faller because I've seen that a
Yeah.
few times in Eliminator. That might be a little bit far, but we can either look at them or like, we'll kind of see how it goes, but I think if we get one of them, we go with that, and then if not, then maybe we go double RB, then start our receivers after that.
And I was actually walking my dogs when you and Who Hames were on today, so I caught like a decent little part of it, but then I missed some of the end. But one of y'all was saying, I don't know if it was you or him. I liked y'all's idea about with the bye weeks, not worrying too much about them overall, but kind of I think it was him that said he tries to make sure his first maybe 5 rounds or whatever tries to watch for the overlapping bye weeks.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like the end of the world, I think, especially if you have some more like bye week 8 because there's so many guys on bye and it is just a head to head that I think a lot of teams might kind of have bye week 8 be hurting. So, I think if you have bye week 8 a little bit more cuz there's 6 teams on bye, it might not be quite as painful. Um but I do think I agree with that though, where with your early guys, you want to be conscious. You don't want to give up on a player you think is a clear tier above, but you definitely want to be conscious of the bye weeks for sure.
Have you been leaning more like towards the three QBs in the eliminator or two? I know for me, the way I've kind of been playing it is like if I get one of those elite guys up top with the Russian two, I kind of tend to stick with two then. And if I miss out on them, that's when I'll kind of, try to get two good, not elite, but two good guys plus tack on a third late or something.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with that. I think in general, I like the idea of 3, but if you get an elite guy and then you feel pretty good with your second guy, I think you can definitely stop at 2. Either way feels fine. I think generally I like the 3 QBs kind of all in the mid range.
Okay.
But it just kind of depends like how the board falls to you. Like what's it like? I'm just real big on, I don't know, just kind of playing the board, like see what falls to you, kind of thing. Every build, like I'm pretty open to most different build types. Just kind of depends how you feel about the players and what kind of falls to you, what lands in your spot.
Do you like the elite tight ends in the eliminator?
So that's one thing that I'm really unsure. I haven't done a ton of Eliminator. I'm probably about 15 in. I think if Bowers gets to us, then grabbing Bowers at 22 does
Yeah,
feel good because that's some value.
Bowers
And
that
Bowers at
late.
22, yeah.
hmm And I mean, that's kind
But
of how I've been playing them. If you heard some of my like other ones, well, there goes Bowers, anyways. What do you think here? You want to go running back again? You want to go Higgins,
I'm okay with either Bucky or T.
Bucky, or T?
Yeah,
Uh,
one of the two.
you know what? I would always pick T here, just because I don't know. I have a hard time truly getting in on Bucky at his
Yeah,
price, but so it's a good way to mix it up.
I'm the same way with Bucky. Like, I I think I'm bought in enough where I'll have an average amount, but he's not a guy I like super believe in, but I'm also not really willing to fade him. So I'm just gonna keep him at an even like right around 8% this season. Like
I think that's a
because
good
I
way to
don't
play it.
doubt him. Oh,
Let's
or
see. We're coming back up here. We got Browns on the clock. I mean, Browns out there. Wilson.
mhm.
We could grab one of the quarterbacks if you want to go ahead and get us an elite guy.
um yeah, I'm okay with Allen. Okay. I'm okay with
Allen's
Lamar or
gone.
Garrett.
Lamar.
Lamar or Garrett Wilson would be my picks.
You know what? Since we were running back, let's not get too far behind. How about we take Wilson and try to
Okay.
pair him
Yeah.
with I'm really in on Fields this year. I know I heard you and Who Hames, and I think it was you that was saying you're really in on Fields. And
Oh yeah. I think we're both pretty in on Fields, but I'm like almost 200 drafts in already, and I have like 30% Justin Fields. So so
maybe
I'm
we should have
I'm
took Lamar
super
then to
in.
mix you up a little bit.
Yeah, I think I would have pushed really. I would have pushed maybe more for Allen. I do think Allen and Lamar are really close. I just feel like Allen is a little bit more consistent. So I would have maybe pushed like to go Allen. Then we could have kind of seen how we could build out. But with Lamar, I
I,
think he would have been a fine pick too. But I like getting Garrett Wilson there. Give us like a solid base at wide receiver.
yeah, I'm kind of with you. I tended, lean a little more Allen than Lamar. On DraftKings, I wasn't drafting many of the elite QBs right now just because I felt like over there, their price was eventually going to fall. Um, but I've said my whole spiel before. I feel like the QB points mean more on Underdog than DraftKings. So on DraftKings, when you add in the extra rounds that you have, plus feeling like the quarterback points make up less of the team's total score percentage wise than it does over on Underdog. So I definitely am more of a like make sure I don't get screwed on QB on Underdog. I won't do as many of my gross 3 QB stacks like I do on DraftKings.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I agree with that because DraftKings with the bonuses and with PPR, it's just like QBs don't really matter as much. But
hmm
on Underdog, I totally agree. Like they matter a lot. But I also think just with it being 4 point passing touchdowns in general and like no bonuses, you can get by with some of these like little bit later guys. Like, guys like Caleb or Drake May, they rushed for nearly 500 yards as rookies. Or like Fields, obviously. I mean, he has a major rushing threat. But I just think you can get by with like guys like that where they still give you that rushing upside and you're not paying like a super premium. Getting an elite does feel nice though. Like I agree with that. I like getting an elite.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Switch over here. Sorry, I'm trying to mess with some settings too on the YouTube side.
But but yeah, like if you look at the board too, like you see some of these running backs really getting pulled up, like Chuba and James Cook. Chuba is very shocking. I haven't really seen that, but him and James Cook going late third, early fourth. I think that's why it's so beneficial to grab those two guys early because like Bijan at three, Bucky at 22. That's pretty normal in any contest. Where in this contest, you're seeing people pull up those running backs so much, and we didn't really have to take that value loss like they did.
Yeah, no,
We
hey,
got
I
normal value.
totally agree on that. Totally agree on that.
Do you have any
Let's
strong
see.
leans coming up here?
We could grab another running back or Ted. I'm really in on Ted this year. We could use another receiver. I'd be okay with either of the guys at the top. Hampton, if we want to go, well, he's gone anyways. Looks like we're probably
Uh,
going receiver. I'm not that
yeah,
in on
Tet.
Kamara. You like
I like
Ted?
Tet a lot. Oh yeah, I'm super in on Tet. Yeah, I have
I mean, he's
like
going to get all the targets he can handle, right?
yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if he sees like 140 plus targets as a rookie. And I have a ton of Tet. I'm pretty in on the Panthers in general, but I think Tet specifically, I'm like well over 20% on him. I'm huge on Tet no matter the format. Because I think just being in on the Panthers and he's going to be such a target hog, even though Thielen's not gone.
All right, we're back on the clock. You want to go? There's receivers. There's Kittle on the board. If it was me,
Um,
I'd probably go Flowers or Kittle just because I'm not in on Hunter that much, but Hunter could hurt
okay,
me. So if you like Hunter, I'm okay taking him.
I like Kittle here. I think that's a good pick.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Have you
I'm
heard my
also not really in on Hunter.
Have you heard? You might have heard it, you might not have. But so I've said it a couple times on stream. Kittle and then Hawkinson have been major targets for me this year on any format. Well, mostly in the tournaments, especially because I just feel like that 2v2. I haven't been that in on Bowers where he normally goes, like say early second, and McBride there at the 2-3 turn. So I have purposely in a lot of my drafts been targeting Kittle and Hawkinson around their ADP, just because if I get to the playoffs, like yeah, if there's Bowers and McBride teams in my pod, I feel okay with what Kittle can do up against them, or I feel okay with what Hawkinson could do in a one game situation against them. So then you're looking at my second round receiver that I took or whatever versus their, fifth round receiver, or in Hawkinson's case, seventh, eighth round receiver.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially with Kittle. I feel like he's actually a really good price where I'm kind of in on the elite tight ends like Bowers and McBride, but I do agree the price does make it a little bit tough to get like overweight on them because of the guys you're giving up on or like, passing up on. Where with Kittle, I feel like he's a great value because he can really compete with them like through the whole season. It would not be shocking to see Kittle as tight end one overall. And Hawkinson too. I don't have a ton of him in post draft yet. I picked a ton of him in pre draft, but I'm really in on him too. I think maybe his spike weeks will be a little more limited, but he definitely can spike like those guys. But I think as a consistent piece, like he's one of the top tier tight ends, and he's very undervalued. I like both
Yeah,
those guys. Yeah, where they go.
yeah, I agree with that for sure. Let's see
Um,
here, flipping around. Maybe those puppies I did the other night helped me out because I don't know this. The 30-second clock is feeling slow now.
oh yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
well,
officially here.
yeah. Yeah, I think it doesn't take much cuz like you said too, you're so used to DraftKings like as soon as you do some on here, it's the same game pretty much. So it's just figuring
Hmm.
out like where those little pockets are. And then, you're pretty much like ready to rip like, oh, okay, I like this guy here, whatever. It's
Yeah.
not too bad of a transition cuz I kind of did that last year where I did a lot of DraftKings like near the end of the summer cuz they were doing like
Hmm.
kind of promos and stuff quite a bit.
Hmm.
Um, and like, yeah, it was like the first couple I kind of felt like out of sorts and maybe built some like not great teams, but after a couple, you feel pretty used to it. It's all the same game. There's just some like scoring differences.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I don't think I'll be doing much DraftKings anymore because I enjoy the streaming stuff. I don't really have any huge aspirations for where it goes or anything. We'll see down the road, but I think it's fun, and I'm gonna be sitting here at my desk drafting best ball all summer at nights anyway. So
Yeah.
figured I'd give it a go.
That was exactly what I was thinking too, like getting on it. Like, I don't really have any giant goals in it. It's just like, I don't know. I draft hundreds of teams every summer anyway, so might as
Right?
well like stream it and stuff. It's just makes it kind of fun too. You kind of talk through your picks. You can share like your opinions and everything. I don't know. It's just more for fun. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's getting a little close to us here. I'm not as huge into him on the longer, season like BBM style tournaments, but how you feeling about Aaron Jones in the eliminator? Or we could wait and try to get Judkins, on the way back, maybe grab another receiver here.
So I'm okay with Aaron Jones. I would probably prefer Pollard. I don't know how you feel about him.
Pollard, I'm okay
Um.
with Pollard. His bye week's good too. I'm trying to watch those running back bye weeks, but yeah, we can do
Oh yeah.
Pollard.
Um. That would be my lean. I'm pretty big on Pollard. Uh.
The bye weeks all kind of work out except Judkins with a 9 on Bucky. We could do a Pollard, and then if we don't like any other receivers on the way back, maybe even go ahead and grab a fourth running back.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea at all.
We'll grab
Okay.
Pollard.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that there. I just really think Pollard like I don't think he really cedes much work to Tajay when he's healthy. And, I think he, like, if you look at his game logs, he was really good last year on that Tennessee offense, and they should be, they should be pretty improved with Cam Ward. Like, I know like Cam Ward, we don't really know he's a rookie, but I don't really think he can be too much worse than Will Levis. I mean, Will Levis has turned the ball over every other play.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to be worse than him.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We got Judkins. Are you in on him or Swift?
I'm
Laporta, if we
cool.
wanted to do two tight ends.
I don't think two tight ends. I'd be okay with Judkins or Swift. You can make a call on that one. Or if we wanted to go
Uh,
receiver, like Ricky, but I'm cool with Judkins or Swift.
we'll go ahead and go Judkins. That gives
Okay,
us
yeah.
four. You know what? The way I see it, like as far as our running backs, we don't have any bye week, problems until week 9. And by week 9, other people are going to be in that same situation anyways if the team's still alive. And I
Right.
forget how
Well,
much money you'd be making by then. I know if you make it to week 12, you start getting like 2,000. I think it was. I saw. We
yeah, I
added
think
it
like
up one
week
night on
ten's like
stream.
1,000 or something.
Yeah, that would make sense because it doubles basically. You start in like week 4 with the $10 or whatever it is, and then basically every week that you advance past week 4, it just doubles.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I really like Quinch on there too because I think we got guys, we obviously got upside because we got some early running backs, but he's kind of more of like a long season, like upside swing maybe than a Swift. Just because he's a rookie, he could kind of take over more and more work as the season goes. And we have so much strength, we don't really need him early. But
Mm-hmm.
that upside he can provide throughout the season could really help us out.
No, I'm definitely in on him. A lot of people. I was talking about it the other day. A lot of people, I think, kind of pigeonhole him as that. Oh, he's going to be the first and second down grinder. Yeah, Ford's still going to play some, but I've watched my tape on him, and I mean, I think the guy's got a little bit of juice myself. I think he's a little more than just a first and second down grinder. I mean, I know they used him at Ohio State kind of in that early down role, but they also had Henderson that they wanted to mix in.
Right, and he still caught a decent amount of passes. They just had a expert pass catching back, so I don't really think that's too much of an indictment on him. And I think the big thing with Judkins too, his athletic testing was like at least to me like surprisingly good. Like he
Mm-hmm.
tested very well at the combine. So I mean, the capital they spent on him too, early second round pick, with not much competition in his way, that makes me feel pretty good for him over the season. Even if the team maybe we don't love, but their O line is pretty good too. So I think that feels pretty good
Yeah,
overall.
no, for sure. And I mean, that's my thing I was saying the other day is like, do we really want to not be in on him if we hate their passing game? They still have a really good defense. We don't know which of the three quarterbacks is going to be playing at when, but we have this kind of exciting rookie that they spent draft capital on. They play outdoors and they got a really good defense. Seems like to me they're probably going to be trying to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I would think so too. And just yeah, like you said,
What's
with
up,
their
Who?
QB situation. What's up, Who Hames? But yeah, I definitely could see them running quite a bit, and even if they're not super run heavy, I mean, just where he is, he's our fourth RB. I think we feel good with that just over the course of the season. I think our RB room is like crazy solid now,
Yeah,
and
I
then we
mean
kind
that's
of
how
got
I
to
like to
hammer
build them.
receiver a little.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and then Fields, maybe catch Fields on the way back, take a receiver here, and you want to get Fields with our Wilson pick, not with this first one, but when we flip around in the ninth.
yeah, that feels pretty good.
So let's see. We don't want to get too far behind. You like any of these guys up top? We got Cup,
Uh,
Pittman, Ibuka, Higgins.
I would
Feel like we
probably lean Cupper Pittman. Just with our build, we kind of want a safer guy who's going to get targets right out the gate.
both of them are
Like,
kind of gross. Which
yeah,
one you like?
yeah.
You want to go Cup?
Sure. Let's grab Cup. He'll probably give us some early season production, and then maybe we
Mike,
can build in a little more upside like later in our build.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm
who
with you.
knows?
I don't love either of those guys, but I think they're both gonna get decent volume, and they're both gonna be on the field running routes day one. Where those rookies are a little scary as far as their workload. You
Yeah.
know, like the Higgins, Amikas, they're just a little more
Yeah.
scary. Like day one, week one, when we do kind of need that production with our like
No,
kind
I
of
hear
lower
you for
receiver.
sure. Because even Ted, I think he'll be really good out the box, but I could see him having a slow game here or two early on. So somebody
Mhm.
got us on the fields play. So do you want to hold off then on QB, or we could get Purdy since we have Kittle? We could go Purdy, or we could
Um,
keep hitting up receiver. I think that's kind of the play to me.
yeah. Which receiver would you like if we go receiver?
If we went receiver here, I would probably go down a little. Well, no, now he's second. Shaheed. I really like Shaheed.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
Shaheed?
Shahid or Purdy, either one's fine.
Let's get Shaheed. We can figure something out at quarterback. I've I've taken some quarterbacks that you normally wouldn't take unstacked in the eliminator. I'll admit it. I'm not saying
Oh
that's like the
yeah.
plan, but hey, if it's between getting me some wide receiver firepower or a good tight end, and I don't feel like you quite need it as much, as you might the regular style tournaments where once we get to those 15, 16, 17s, we really need that correlation, to help us get out of the, single week pods in 15, 16. And then if you're in the finals, you really need the correlation to, put you above the rest. Whereas in something like this, we just got to be better than the other guy we're playing. So let's try to maximize the team.
Right, yeah, we don't need correlation at all with our quarterbacks. I mean, if we can get it, it's good to get, but it is definitely not a requirement in the eliminator format. Like I agree with that. Um I think especially if we get a guy with a little bit of rushing upside, we don't feel bad if they're like not stacked or something. That's not too
Yeah.
big of a hit.
Yeah. Like I would have if this was a BBM, me personally, and we had this build going, I probably would have leaned Purdy more just because, yeah, we already got Kittle. Let's get us one stack going.
Yeah. Well, I think in a BBM we just wouldn't have really built like this in general
Yeah,
though.
yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, just because like where the running backs go, like we like for example, we took Pollard at like 70 or whatever. Like he goes
Mm-hmm.
like a round and a half later than that in a BBM, and a lot of these receivers go a little earlier, right? So it's just like with a different format, the builds do end up kind of being different. Where I think maybe you push off receiver a little more because you want that floor so much at running
Mm-hmm.
back with the access to ceiling too. It's so much more important in this format than like a BBM, where you can kind of scrape by at running back and just hope you hit during those couple pods. Where in this,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you have to consistently be putting up points every week, or else you're going to be out.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Although you were saying we wouldn't build like this, and ideally, no, you wouldn't. But so for fun, when did I do it? Last night or early? No, earlier today when my wife took the girls somewhere. I did a puppy because I saw they were about to close out or whatever, and I
Mm-hmm.
recorded it, but it's not a live stream. I'm gonna go back and edit some stuff on it, but I tried one of those. You see Davis and them doing it, the extreme type builds or whatever, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
it actually turned out a lot better than I thought, and I kind of like it. It was a two QB, four running back, two tight end, and then 10 receivers. But I didn't even draft my first receiver until like really late. I don't remember when it was, maybe like round seven. Diggs was my first receiver that I drafted, and it wasn't a
Oh,
reach, it was around ADP. But I have like four like just super good backs. Bijan, it was the start. I think it's Bijan and JT were my first two picks. And I worked it perfectly to where like I felt really, really good about all four of those running backs. They all had different bye weeks. Josh Allen and then somebody else. Josh Allen and I can't forget who the other quarterback was. I don't know. Let's get to this pick so we can eliminate some folks though.
all right.
We got Dak on the board, or if we want to keep hitting up receiver, I think probably hold off for a little bit on running back. Is that what you're thinking too?
Oh yeah, definitely not running back. Go to QB quick. So do we feel like any of those like top couple QBs? Are we fine with any of them, or do you really like Dak a lot more?
Well, Dak just
Oh, Dak's
went. I would
gone.
I would say, especially since we got another pick soon, let's take what receiver you like here the best.
Um, do you have any lean? I kind of maybe lean like Keon Burden. I'm okay with some of the lower guys too, though.
Hmm, I can go with Coleman. I think he'll be involved. Might be his breakout season. Burden, I don't mind still drafting in the the season long type tournaments, but he kind
Mhm.
of scares me a little bit in this just cause right now because we don't know for sure. Yes, coaches say it's not a big deal, but you know how that goes as far as like his soft tissue
Yeah,
stuff going on.
yeah. I got Huhane's take Burden earlier, and he said the same thing. He wasn't super happy with the Burden click.
We could I don't know if I mean, I think there's enough quarterbacks on the board. We can maybe wait and maybe next round just try to grab two of them. Like when it comes back to us
uh,
again, maybe go like
yeah, I'm
Kirk
fine with
here or
that. Is there a
Mims.
receiver that you like?
Probably Kirk or
I'd
Mims.
probably lean. I'd probably lean Kirk. I guess maybe just give us a little bit more of that like early season production,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then we can maybe
And
get like 8 receivers
CJ
on this
still on the
build.
board too, so that not that we're trying to stack, but if CJ works to us at a nice price and we have Kirk, that wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah, and I think an eliminator like my ideal build is to get skinny stacks. What's up, Steve?
What's going on, my man? Thanks for stopping by. What's up, Putt Daddy?
What's up?
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you on the
but
skinny
I
stacks.
think yeah, I think that's the good way to play it just cuz like you do get some of that correlation and some of that upside from it, but you're not losing as much with when that bye week hits. So you
Mm-hmm.
still get some correlation, some team stacking, but you're not totally dead when that week hits that they're on bye.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree. My
Mhm.
man Mark's in here. He's a he stops by
So,
all my streams.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen him in the chats a few times. Yeah.
He's Mark's a good buddy of mine.
Um.
I've known him about like 30 years or so. So yeah, he's definitely been real supportive.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's awesome when your buddies too are into like into football, into basketball and stuff. A lot of my buddies
Oh
they
yeah, yeah,
they never watch football. They're not into this stuff like at all.
yeah. Well, Mark's into it. I think he kind of loves best ball because he would always back in the fantasy days get burnt out on the season like halfway through. So I know he loves best ball because he can draft them all summer and then just be done with it.
Yeah.
Not have to manage
When that's I mean
lineups and
this
all
is the
that other
funnest
stuff.
part. Yeah, yeah. When like to me that I mean that's what got me so into best ball is like this is the most fun part is drafting the team. Like doing
Mm-hmm.
all the management stuff. Like it's cool. It's cool to see your roster change and do all that and do trades and everything. But drafting the team is the best part of fantasy football, at least like to me. Like that's the part I love the most.
Hey, I agree. I think that's why we're all here
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
love the
exactly.
drafts.
Yeah.
All right,
and
so
we're all
let's see.
and
What
we're
are
all
you
just some
thinking?
degenerates.
For
Um,
sure.
I think yeah, yeah.
Hold off longer on
I
tight
think
end, huh? We talked about
yeah,
quarterbacks.
we
We
got
better get
Kittle.
us at
We're
least
good.
one,
We
if
can
not
punt the other
two.
two.
We got four running
I
backs
was
we
thinking
feel good
probably
with.
two.
Yeah, because we caught up some at
Um,
quarterback. I mean, at wide receiver.
wide receiver. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we grab either one of so we could either grab I think we really want Bryce as one of them. So we
Mm-hmm.
could either grab Bryce first or we could grab one of the other three first. Maybe we
Well,
grab
the other
Bryce to go
guys
with
in.
our T Mac.
Hmm. Or if you like one of the other ones
Unless
better, the people in between us, one of them has two QBs, the other one has one, and we have Tet. So Bryce might come back, or do you want to not take a chance? Do you like Lawrence or
um
Penix better than Young in a nutshell?
uh I would lean Bryce just because or okay,
Okay,
yeah, let's just get
I'm good with
Bryce.
it. I had him
I was
start. I
gonna
had him
say
start in case we ran out.
I was gonna say Thielen was still available. I actually didn't see he went like just before us. I just worry about
Hmm.
someone doing the double tap with Bryce. Like with Thielen
Yeah,
gone,
yeah,
maybe a
yeah.
little bit less risky, but even with Leggett, like someone could double tap him.
Hmm. No worries, we got him. So then you want to grab Lawrence if he stays. I don't really want. We don't want
Yeah.
Stafford, do we? At least Lawrence
No,
can move a
I'd much
little
rather
bit.
get T Law.
We
Yeah,
might
I'd
luck
much rather
into a
get T
couple
Law than
rushing
Stafford.
touchdowns or something.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like you almost
Well,
want.
and he's like a tier above. I mean, even just looking at the ADP, this is a pretty big fall on Lawrence. He's
Yeah,
fallen
yeah,
like
yeah.
20 picks now. Yeah, so getting him would feel pretty good here.
This guy's got two QBs, so he might let him slide
Yeah.
to us. There he goes.
All right, yeah, Lawrence
They
for
got
sure.
different bye weeks. Could live with that.
Yep.
Hey, we could always tag their tight end on as another tight end late if we wanted a little, correlation with them. The strange guy
Oh yeah, that'd probably feel pretty good.
deciding who to start in dynasty leagues. You can go QB, have both Baker, Burrow. I swear I never choose the right one. We've all been
Yeah.
there and done that for sure.
Well, I think Baker and Burrow scored exactly the same amount of points. Oh yeah, yeah,
Stafford's arm falling off or his back breaking or something.
yeah,
Even when I have Puka, Stafford's a hard click.
yeah. Yeah, Stafford's hard just because he doesn't really give you those spike weeks. His upside is so limited. Like he feels okay maybe if you get some like let's say you did get maybe some second year guys who you think have some upside but you're a little concerned with, like let's say you had like May and Young where you feel good about the upside but you're a little concerned maybe Stafford is like kind of more of a floor play, but
Yeah.
he just his lack of upside without the rushing makes it so hard to click him in this format, like any best ball format.
Hmm. I agree. I think I have him. As y'all know, I haven't drafted much here. I'm just now moving into the underdog world, but in all of my, I think I have like 45 or 50 total drafts and DraftKings Millionaire Maker or whatever, and I believe I only took Stafford one time, and I did a Puka, and then grabbed Adams a little later, and I think it was the third round that I got Adams in that one. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago, but I did take Stafford one time when I had both of them. I was like, well, I have both of them, so I almost need Stafford to be healthy and good for it to work.
Yeah, if you're making that big of a bet on the offense, like especially if it's a guy you don't click much, that's the time to get him, right? Like
Hmm.
I'm making a huge bet on the Rams offense, even if I don't love this guy. I already made the bet, so I might as well pick the QB. Oh yeah,
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 for sure.
yeah, yeah. T Law will get you picking the wrong guy like every week, like because you'll see one week he'll get like 30, and you're like, oh okay, he's getting hot, I better start him, and then he gets like 10. It's like, yeah, he's a rough one. Maybe this
All
year though,
right.
right? This might be the year.
So I think we're pretty open here. It's a few picks away. We can start planning though. We grabbed us the
Yeah.
two QBs. You feeling like probably a third QB at some point with those two? I think
Yeah,
that's how I'd kind of probably lean.
yeah, I would lean towards third QB. I mean, we could even look at Darnold here. We do have Cup. I'm not a huge fan of Darnold, but in an eliminator, I like him more. And those other guys are like very questionable that are left, unless you like Shook. Um, and I don't
I
feel
like
like any
Chick
of
a
those
little bit, but
receivers.
we don't know that if he's gonna start. We could grab a tight end and just be done with two tight ends. I like Fryermuth a lot. Do you like him,
Yeah, I
or
like
you want to wait?
Fryermuth, or we get Strange to stack with T Law. I'm cool with
True,
either of
true,
those
true. I
guys.
forgot about Strange pick. You want to grab
Either of
Strange
those is
now?
Either of those two is fine with me. Fryermuth or Strange. And I think we grab the tight end first because these guys have a lot of QBs and no tight ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's go ahead and grab Strange. Doesn't hurt to have a little correlation. In a
Yeah.
nutshell, I think I would like, if I didn't have any QBs, I would definitely pick Fryermuth over Strange. But since we have T Law, there's no receivers left from Jacksonville that we probably want any part of. So that kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, like we could look at last round if we want to look at like De'Ami Brown or Parker Washington, but I don't really think they're targets.
Do we want to grab Darnold here just since we know that he'll be starting at least part of the season? Give us three
Yeah.
quarterbacks because after him, it gets pretty gross as far as eliminator picks.
Yeah, I think Darnold for sure. And we have Cup, so now we have all our QBs with just a single stack. And like I said, I don't love Darnold, but I think early in the season he does give you some floor. Maybe he starts out okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but now we have all our QBs too, where they only have a single stacked piece, which is like what I was saying earlier. I really like in the Eliminator, where it doesn't kill us those weeks where those guys are on bye, but we do have correlation with every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I don't think I've maybe one time I've double stacked somebody in the I think I have one eliminator team where I did go Flowers and Andrews with Lamar. But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, like we talked
Oh,
about it at the beginning. Like I'm definitely okay just taking quarterbacks in the eliminator unstacked. I'm not gonna reach for even the skinny stack, but if it comes to me, it's always better, of course.
oh yeah, and I think that worked out really good. Like I feel good with that three quarterback room. And then it does feel good getting the skinnies on them all. And if we wanted, like, we could look at, like, a lower value double stack, which I kind of like doing. That way you get even more correlation. Like, same thing, it doesn't hurt you as bad. Like, we could look
Mm-hmm.
at a Coker, we could look at Parker Washington, Dimey Brown. We could look at, like, last round, like, those two guys last round, or, like, MVS, Torrey Horton last round. Any of those guys if we did want to get some more correlation. We don't need to though. It's just something like we could do if we want.
Yeah. Or what do you think with tight end? You thinking stick with those two, or try to throw a third one on at the end, or stick with two
Um,
and add the extra running back receiver bullets? Kind of okay
uh,
either way.
yeah, I feel good. So let's look at the team really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 picks left, right? So
Let's see, 16th round. So yeah,
yeah.
we
All
got
right.
our
So good
Bryce
at
Lawrence.
QB. Or yeah, sorry.
We got
Um,
our Bryce Lawrence, Darnold at QB. We got Bucky and Bijan and Pollard and Judkins as our running backs. Wide receiver, we ended up with Wilson, Tet, Cup, Rashid Shaheed, Coleman, and Kirk. And then we're sitting with the Kittle Strange combo at tight end. Overall, pretty good so far. I think we're doing a pretty nice job of it.
mhm. So I think I think in this build I would lean slightly towards a 3-5-8-8-2. Um and stop at 2 tight ends because I think we want 8 receivers because our receiver room is probably the weakest point of this team, right?
Mm-hmm. I
We
definitely,
could stop at 4 running backs. Actually, we probably can't because we have 2 week 9 buys. So we probably
mm-hmm.
want the fifth guy who's a different bye week.
Mm-hmm. No, I
But
agree. I'm okay with
uh,
two QBs with just Kittle and Strange. Kittle's got a later ish bye week, really late actually. If we make it to week 14,
yeah,
we're gonna be fine.
yeah. If we make it to Kittle's bye week, we're already happy.
So we're gonna have him every week in the lineup,
Hmm.
assuming he's healthy, of course. So what are you thinking? Running back here and then double tap receiver the rest of the way out, or receiver here, then running back. We got Brian on the board. We don't know where
Um,
Allen's gonna play.
so I would probably lean Bryant. Because the 2 teams after us both have 5 running backs already and only
Well,
six
Brian just
receivers.
went.
Okay.
We're on the clock, but Brian just went. We could take a shot
Would
on Keenan Allen, receiver wise.
who are you leaning here? Is there anyone you're leaning at either position?
Um, you can go Giddens for a backup running back.
That's fine with me. Sure.
I don't
Okay,
know.
and
I
I
just
think two receivers the rest of
yeah,
the
yeah,
way.
yeah. No, I definitely feel you on that. I saw he had week 11 bye, so who knows? Maybe we get lucky. Maybe JT's got a sprained ankle come week 5, or maybe Giddens is good enough to be on the field.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not really any really running backs that we can for sure count on being on the field week 5. I guess maybe we could have went Hunt. That might have been a little better now that I think about it.
Yeah, yeah, maybe a little, but he might be phased out. He's so old, and like we're not really
Yeah,
looking till week 9. Like,
right.
yeah.
He would have been
Um,
maybe the little safer pick, but I think Giddens
that's true.
probably gives us definitely more upside.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So I think here we're just really looking at receiver. We could go Diami, to get correlation. We could take a shot on Keenan. I'm basically okay with any of those top like 6 receivers, whoever you
I'm
want.
I'm okay with Keenan if you are.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah, that
mean, I
works for
feel
me.
like I've I was, if you look through his game logs, I know we can't hear, but that's I think the only thing that I think DraftKings is maybe slightly better, that you can actually see their game logs on while you're in the draft. Other than
Oh
that,
yeah.
though, Underdog, of course, blows them away in every aspect. But he was still really good at football last year. I feel like he's going to sign somewhere. He's a veteran. He's not in any rush. What does he really want to be out there at OTAs? No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he still commanded a good amount of targets on that offense with a lot of talented players around him. So
Exactly.
I don't think he's really washed. He's really just I think a risk in the sense of like I do think he'll sign and he'll play. I just think he's risky in the sense like he could be a guy where if a team that's not a contender is the only one willing to sign him, maybe he just hangs it up as like I had a good career, made, enough money and I'm just ready to call it. I think that's the only risk. I think he's definitely talented enough to still play though.
You know who I like taking him with just because I see there being an opening and maybe he could convince himself they're decent enough worth playing for us. I actually love taking him on Fields teams when I don't have Wilson.
Mhm.
Like if I didn't take Wilson, but I took Fields because Fields will run anyways. That's when I love throwing Allen on there because we might get lucky. You never know.
Oh yeah, and I mean they definitely have a need at wide receiver too. I mean they drafted that guy like oh yeah, he does have great hands, yeah.
Hmm.
Um but they drafted that guy, I think his name's Arion Smith or something. They
Hmm.
picked him a little high, but I don't know how great he'll be. They still have Lazard, they have Corley, but none of those guys really seem like too much. Like Keenan would walk in and clearly be the wide receiver 2 on that team.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why I love taking him with Fields. And my thing too with Allen is like is you know how it goes. As soon as he signs, he's not gonna be a 17th round pick. You know,
Oh yeah.
he's gonna easily be up there past Hopkins, past Judkins, past Michael Wilson. I mean, and depending on what team, if he goes to a juicy situation, I could see him in easily the 14th or 13th round. So I'm gonna take him as much as I can while he's in the 17th and 18th rounds. He doesn't make it to the 18th that often, but I definitely
Yeah.
take him a lot late in drafts.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that applies with like, him, Dobbins, Chubb, even like maybe a little bit lesser extent, but like Cooper. I think any of those guys, if you really feel like they're gonna sign, then drafting them now is the way to do it because pretty much nowhere where they like it doesn't matter where they sign, they're going to move up multiple rounds most likely if they do sign.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. When it comes to us in two picks, your call on receiver. None of these guys really jump out to me. Who you like out
Um,
of this misfit bunch down here?
maybe scroll down just a little. Is Parker Washington available?
Um, let's just look this way. Yeah, he's still there. You want to grab
So
him?
I'm cool with him or like AD Mitchell probably would be my top two.
Well, you want to grab
Uh
Mitchell now and then Washington. Oh wait, this
oh,
is
well,
the
we're
18th
done
round.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot. I was thinking 17 for some reason. Let's grab Washington. He correlates.
Yeah, and I mean he's got some really good coach speak lately too. He has a chance to play a decent role in that offense, maybe in like the slot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think he's an okay pick on like a T-Law team in the last round. And, maybe kind of more as a slot guy. If he is getting a decent role, he's getting like a decent amount of targets, maybe giving us a little bit more floor as like a later guy with some upside. I mean, he's a young guy; he could have some juice.
All right, you're about to learn me something on Underdog right now. I've noticed it doing that to me. Of course, I'm the DraftKings guy. I'm trying to move over here into the Underdog world. I've noticed that on some of the drafts, it does that to me. When I'm at the very end of the draft, it kicks me out, but then sometimes it'll let me stay there and look at, the team longer. Is
Hmm.
there something what makes that happen? Is there something I'm missing or
No, no, it's just random. Sometimes when it
sometimes it
lets
does
you
it?
stay in the room, it basically won't show that the very last pick was ever made. And then
Ah,
when the last pick does load in, that's when it kicks you out. I don't know why. It's like totally random.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm still learning where to find everything too on here. I
Oh
think this
yeah.
should be the one we just did. Right here,
Yep.
is this where I name them at? Yeah, there we go. I always do, mostly before in the past, I've always done underdog slow drafts on my phone. So getting used to them on the computer has been a little bit different too. I'll go back and add
Oh,
like
like your
our
stacks or
format and
whatever.
all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but I just want to go ahead and put your name on there so be easy to track. And I think it's only right. I did all my big money drafts, or not big money, but my going for big money drafts over on DraftKings so far this year. I got my first guess on stream. You want to go for 2 million, buddy?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
What do you think? You want to do 20-second clock, 30-second clock? You make the call. I think we can do 20 if you want to. If you want to keep it slower pace at 30, we can do that too.
Uh I mean we can probably rip the 20. I think we can do it. We,
Let's do it.
we
That
got
one actually
yeah.
seemed kind of like it was moving slow to me. I told you I did over the
Yeah.
last 2 or 3 days. I did like 5 puppies, I think, on the 20-second clock, just because I wanted to kind of get myself like used to it a little bit. And I don't know. I think I'm warming up to it.
Yeah. Let me just I mean I guess this will fill pretty quick either way,
Yeah,
huh?
the BBMs normally that's like the DraftKings $20 one. You can hop in that sucker anytime and it'll fill within a couple minutes.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. So if you guys missed it, we are here with our guest Hartman tonight. Hartman Fantasy Football is his channel. Thank him for stopping by. We just drafted an eliminator team. Felt it came out pretty good. It was 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 8 receivers, 2 tight ends, I believe, if I remember right. We are now going to go for the $2 million in a BBM. This is JT Bestball. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys haven't subbed, I'd appreciate it if you sub. I'm streaming most nights about 9:45 Central. Only time that really works for me. I can be your nightcap, close off your night, wake up in the morning to some more best ball.
And yeah, thanks for having me on. I had to turn on the light quick. It was getting a little bit dark.
Do you have like a general set time that you stream normally?
Not really yet. I'm kind of planning like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm gonna do like around noon because I don't work those days, and then just maybe like one through the week or something like that.
Ah, nice. Mark's in the BBM with us. Welcome,
Oh, okay,
Mark.
there we go. Yeah, hop in, come in. Makes it a little bit tougher. Makes it a little bit tougher.
For
Especially if
sure.
you get put on the turn and then you have one of the people right before, that can make it pretty tough. But
Yeah, me.
but it's always fun, like drafting with the people that you know and stuff.
Me and Mark have drafted a lot together on normally on DraftKings over the last couple of years, and yeah, we always snipe each other and all the
Yeah,
fun stuff.
yeah,
Not really too much, but hey, if it works for my team, I'm gonna take them.
yeah,
But
yeah. So,
I don't know. I
so
just
in
tried to pick a time that still works for me, not too late, and especially looking ahead to like the summer. I got three daughters that are all middle school ish age. The oldest one's going to high school next year, but they'll be around all summer, and the house will be loud and stuff. And I always got to run somebody here or run somebody there. So only consistent time I could really think of would be at nights. That's normally in the past whenever I would do most of my drafts. And let's say we're a slow draft, most of my live drafts I do at night. So it just kind of works.
and I think it works out pretty good too, because like a lot of the a lot of the other people kind of in the community, like they're kind of wrapping up usually around that time,
Mm-hmm.
so then it makes it work out pretty good where you're kind of like hitting like just as they're maybe ending or something. So works out as a pretty good time slot there too.
Two more people should be filled pretty quick here, and we will knock it out. Go chase 2 million.
Yeah, yeah. First BBM for you. Let's see if we can just win it right on the first try.
Why not, right? We
Yeah.
have Mark in the 2 hole. If somebody else jumped in here and found my stream, let me know. Mark is in the 2 hole. We are in the 5 hole. What is your ideal build in, more of a BBM style? Are you generally more of a, zero RB guy or, you know, hyper fragile running back? I know we all mix it
Um,
up when we draft a lot, but everybody kind of has their, yeah, that's what I like to do the most.
I would say my go-to would be like anchor RB, and then yeah, I would say anchor RB and then get a little bit more RB volume in that maybe like round 7 to 10 range. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
my ideal. I definitely do mix it up, but I'm comfortable mostly with either anchor RB or like full zero RB.
I
What about
agree. I
you? What do
agree.
you go for?
I think most of us tend to be that way.
Yeah, yeah.
um, this year I have been mixing in more like say two running backs in the first 3 rounds, just because last year I felt I probably was a little too zero RB happy. Who you like
Mhm.
here, Lamb, Gibbs,
Lamb, yeah. I'd go
Lamb?
Lamb.
That's who I normally go in that situation.
I'm
I'll take
I'm
Gibbs if
huge
Lamb
on
is off
Lamb.
the board and I'm in the 6 hole, but 5 hole
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still taking either Bijan or Lamb.
Yeah, I'm huge on Lamb this year. Like I've even taken him sometimes like at 2. Which like that's not something I would necessarily say is like a good idea, like something I would suggest to people, but
Mm-hmm.
just I kind of want to take a little bit even more of a stand on him this year. I'm a real big believer in that Dallas offense, like really bouncing back, especially getting Pickens. I think, and they don't really have a running back I believe in, so I think that Dallas passing game could really go crazy this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then
No, I
I also
totally
like their
agree.
week 17 too against Washington. Two high scoring offenses, maybe not the best defenses. I think, and just the division they play in. I mean, obviously the Eagles are tough, but Giants and Commanders aren't the best like defenses. I'm like super in on Dallas this year, especially the passing game.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I agree. I actually have two. I think it's about two teams that were like DraftKings ones whenever the tournaments first opened, and I ended up with Dak and Lamb and Pickens stacks when Pickens was like grossly underpriced, and I was taking him in almost every draft. But that was before the trade, of course, and but it just worked out for that same reason. Even before Pickens, I was in on Dallas and Lamb this year as a kind of a bounce back offense, and so those two teams were nice because I ended up with a double at a really good price on Pickens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think um uh, sorry yeah, yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say I've done about 25 BBM so far, I actually got real lucky with that too. I ended up having two double stacks with Dak, Lamb, and Pickens, and then Pickens at like 70 or whatever. So yeah, it was
Hmm.
like those. After the trade, those felt great.
You want to
Um,
reach down for Higgins? You want to go ahead and grab us one RB and Taylor and kind of do the anchor thing, or
I'd be more Taylor here, but I'm okay
I
with
think
Higgins too.
no, I like that too. We talked about it a minute ago. I think I really like the anchor strategy too when it works out and you get somebody you like. I'm in on Taylor.
Yeah, and I think if any of those other receivers fell to us, it would have been them. But I think um I think Higgins I view maybe just a little closer to those guys in the third round than these guys in the second round. Where
Hmm.
Taylor I think is a tier above, especially with Jacobs not probably not coming back to us. Um I really like grabbing Taylor there because I think the running backs aren't quite as good in the third round. Where the receivers we're
Agree.
not losing too much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh wow,
We'll start
did you see the guy at the one spot? They grabbed Chase Brown and Higgins, so they have the triple.
there. I wasn't paying attention to that, but good catch, good catch. Yeah, I'm still in on Hill this year if he falls to us. Are you in on Hill, or we could go? I don't know
Uh, I'm fine with Hill. Yeah, I was gonna
any
float
other guys
Rashi
you like.
Rice, but he went.
Ah,
No,
okay.
Hill's
Yeah, I
fine.
like Rice too. I don't know. I just feel like every, in best ball, sometimes we have too much of a recency bias, I think. And the fact that the whole offense was down last year, Waddle went to the sideline every other game, it seemed like in the second quarter. Hill, everybody's worried, is he going to be crazy? So we draft him in the third round instead of where he's went in the past. I mean,
Right.
is there a world where the
Well,
offense just comes out and Hill keeps his head on straight and Achan's doing his thing and Tua stays somewhat healthy and they're the offense of just 2 years ago? Sure.
and I mean Hill 2 years ago was far and away the most efficient wide receiver in the league, and it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
close. He like was breaking records with his yards per route run. It was like 3.5 or something insane. So, and I think it was actually Steve was saying it last night on BBG's stream, where if you look at Hill with Tua, he actually wasn't that bad. He wasn't quite like peak Tyreek Hill, but he was still a good player. And when you're getting him in the third round, I mean, if he's a hit, like that just supercharges your wide receiver room like crazy having Lamb and Hill. And then we still have that anchor with JT that we feel really good about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like him there. I think the only guy I'd maybe take over him is like Rice if he was there, because I'm just like super in on Rice this year. But I think where we got him, I'm definitely fine taking Hill over those other guys.
I can't decide what I am on Rice. I am not out and I am not fully in. I think I'm just at.
Yeah,
I
that's
take
fair.
him if he's there. I forget who it was, so I want to give them their credit, but I can't remember their name. But somebody made a really good point on one of the streams the other day. Just talking about it was somebody arguing with Davis. It's that one show Davis does with somebody where he's kind of
Oh,
arguing against
Liam,
him on. No,
Liam
no, it
Murphy.
wasn't Liam's. Let's
Oh,
make this pick real quick. What do you think here? We got Hunter on the board, Metcalf on the board. We could go Jaden.
um, I don't mind Jaden here, or one of the receivers. Either Jaden or a receiver. I'm fine with either of those.
Let's
Whatever
grab
you kind of
Jaden
think.
because I'm not really that in on Hunter. He's another guy. I can't get there. I have my concerns.
Yeah,
We'll grab
yeah. I'm
Jaden.
not
Nothing
in on
wrong with
Hunter very
Jaden.
much.
Jaden's a guy that, if Debo falls to us at a great price, sure, we can take him. I'm
Hmm.
okay with Jaden unstacked if
Well,
I
and
have to.
in this one, Hertz goes before us too, so that
Mm-hmm.
works out pretty good. We got a little bit of value on Jaden, and even with Hertz already gone, it makes it even a little bit better. Yeah.
Who Ham says I need to be in. So the argument that I thought was really interesting, and it was kind of what I've been thinking, but without really being able to put the thoughts together, if that makes sense, was he was talking about how yes, Rice was smashing at the beginning of the season, for sure, no doubt. But also, what was going on at the beginning of the season? We had Brown, who got hurt, the very beginning of camp or whatever. Kelsey was, dealing with the knee injury and stuff. Um, Worthy was a rookie and kind of getting off to a slow start, and the running game was not really doing much. And it was especially once Pacheco got hurt, when the running game wasn't doing much. Those couple games until Rice got hurt is when he was kind of really smashing, almost because it seemed like they had nothing else to do other than use him as a receiver and a running back. We'll talk more about it. Who we want to go with here? You like
Uh,
Flowers, or we could do Kittle again, or Pickens,
I'd
try to
probably
get a
go
double?
Flowers or Pickens, either way.
Let's go Pickens and try to set up a double, right? We're gonna need
All right, yeah.
lots of upside to win $2 million. Lots
Um,
of correlation.
yeah. Actually, I did want to make a quick thing on Rice. Actually, Huhaim said it in the chat. Kind of what I was thinking. And that's like if you look at the year before, and I do understand that they didn't have Hollywood or Worthy, but the end of Rice's rookie season, he was going like crazy at the end of that year and really becoming the focal point of that offense. I do think like yeah, Kelsey was dealing with an injury last year, but Kelsey's very old. It seems like he's kind of a shell of the former like player he was. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why I'm maybe so in on Rice is he's kind of like the Kelsey replacement, and he's going to be like the target hog in that offense. But I think being at field on him, I mean, that's a fine stance. It's an early pick. You're being super in on him. You're passing up on very talented players too. So I don't really hate the call of being just at field on him and not being overexposed.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely not at. I mean, I don't reach ahead for him or anything, but if he's there and I feel like he's the best pick on the board around his ADP, I definitely have taken my fair share of him.
Mhm. Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. I just
so how we built this though so far, I mean, I think we got like a really good start because we have Jaden naked, but we have that game so built out too with
mm-hmm.
Pickens and Lamb double stacked as bringbacks and just
Mm-hmm.
feeling good about them. So
Like
we're really building out that week 17 game, which feels good.
it does. And in that way too, I talk about there's some, like especially the neighbors and Bowers over there, and like the chase with either McBride or Marvin Harrison. Those type I'm trying to stay away from right now, just because everybody's doing them. So why not do something different?
Right,
But I
right.
but I like
Yeah,
this one for sure.
yeah, I'm kind of out on Marvin Harrison right now too. Like he's okay. I'll get my exposure, but I don't feel great with where he
Thanks,
goes.
way
It
down
seems like a
there.
big projection to hope that he kind of hits. Um,
We could
I mean
see
it's
if Debo comes back around to us or take him now. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking probably Debo, right?
Yeah, might as well. We got Jaden. We could try to push him, but he'll probably go. The guy after us only has two receivers. Other guy has three. Let's just go ahead and do it. Get our stack
Yeah,
in. Don't have to worry
yeah,
about doing something gross with Jaden later.
yeah. And I mean I feel like really, really good with that week 17 stack now. Like we have a massive bet on that game, that division. Like I was saying earlier, I feel great with Dallas's offense, but now at least we have a primary stack with our guy Jaden too. So yeah, I mean that feel. Oh yeah, he said Rashi is free on
He,
DK.
yeah, I
Yeah.
missed that one, but yeah, he is though. That I've taken. I took him when I said I've taken my fair share of him. That's why, because his price on DK is a lot better than his price over here.
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
tournament first started on DK, it was stupid crazy how cheap you could get Rice, Worthy, and then tap Mahomes like way later too to tack them on. I have a couple of teams where I did that.
I did a decent amount of pre-draft on DK. I have a ton of rice on those. But the funniest one to me on DK always is Derrick Henry. He goes higher on a full
Yeah,
PPR site than a
yeah.
half PPR site.
I have zero
Like,
Henry over there. I have Henry a couple times in the eliminators I got going. What do you want to do
okay,
here?
good
Let's
pick an
see.
eliminator. I
Running
like
backs.
Caleb or Pollard. But who do you like, or what were you gonna say?
Caleb is a guy that I cannot get in on for some reason. I don't know. Like I should
Yeah,
be in
that's
on
fine.
him. Maybe I need to go watch more tape on him. I've watched some tape on him. We'll go Pollard. We picked him in the
I'm
last one too.
I'm
Gives
underweight
us
on
enough.
Caleb too. I I think he's okay where he goes, but that is a lot of competition with Warren there. Where I feel like Pollard's actually a little bit underpriced with just his role in that offense. And
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, like I think he's a fair price for the upside that you're getting with their scheme in that offense. And he did go to a scheme that fits him really well in Pittsburgh, but he's also a guy I'm not like super in on in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like I guess because I'm not that in on him and I just can't get there with him and Warren is a few rounds cheaper, I just find myself passing on him and I do like Warren now. I'll still take Warren pick a 100 or whatever he goes, 110 somewhere in that range. He'll fall a little bit for you sometimes too.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think Warren actually feels okay where he goes. Um, I've I've kind of always been a little bit lower on Warren, but I think this year, like with him going so much lower, we don't really know what Caleb is, and he's a third round pick. Like, yeah, sure, a lot of people liked him pre-draft, but draft capital third round RB, like that's not necessarily something that in years past you feel great betting on. I think people just do because they were high on him pre-draft, but him going that late, it feels okay to bet on him, but it is a little more risky, I think, maybe than people are giving it credit for.
Hmm.
And he is kind of a limited player too.
So we're all over that Washington Dallas. We got our Jaden with our Debo. We got Pickens and Lamb.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the team looks really good so far. I feel really good about it, like
I'm
right
liking it
now.
too. Uh, I don't like anything at Edward. Do you like Janu? We could do a
Not,
tight end here, or we could wait, go
I
three
don't,
later tight ends.
I don't particularly like Janu, but if we did want to build more of that Dolphins game, we could, or not Dolphins game, but Dolphins stack, because we have
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek. So we could look at that too.
116. Yeah, let's look
Yeah,
at
probably
like
our next
him.
turn we'll look at QB again. And then we could even go like Janu Amika, because then that gives us the game stack because they play Tampa Bay week 17.
You're right, they do. That's when he'd be coming on. You want to do it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sure, why not? Love the rookies late, and you're right, it does stack. That's one of them I don't have memorized for some reason. I'm in on Miami, but I haven't memorized who they play week 17. I know, shame on me.
And, and we might not get Janu back, but that's okay. We already have Tyreek, so that's fine. These two guys don't have tight ends, so they might take them. But even if not, it's fine. We already have the main piece of that team that we bet on, so it's not like he's a must-have anyway. Oh, Kelsey right there. That's a little surprising.
Yeah, Mark went with old man Kelsey.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said too, though, I'm not really in on Janu, but like where he goes, he's okay. It feels like maybe he got a little bit of the perfect storm, but doing volume, it's like you just gotta bet on certain guys, even if you don't personally love them. It's always
Mm-hmm.
better to do that, especially when you do have maybe a good stack with them, rather than just fully fading. Okay, yeah, Janu for sure.
For sure, he came back to us. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, that works
Now we
out
got the
great.
Hill and Janu with the Ibuka bring back.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good. We're sitting at a 1-2-5-1. We got the Jaden. We got, Taylor was our anchor. We took in round two. Put Pollard there with him. Lamb, Hill, Pickens, Debo, Ibuka. We'll get some more receivers, of course. Janu at tight end so far. It's
Yeah, I
feeling
mean,
good.
I think through 9, this is like, a pretty ideal build, like how I'd want to spend capital. And I think it's coming together like really nicely so far.
So then, assuming nobody takes him unstacked, when it comes back to, that's probably right around what you call this ADP, huh? You want to go ahead
Yeah.
and maybe just add Dak as our second quarterback? How are you with the two quarterbacks in week 17? I know some people don't care. Some people are like, no, I don't want it.
Um, I think it's a little bit negative in general, but I think when we have Dak double stacked, and I do like Dak's price in general, I don't mind grabbing him on this build having the double. If we just had Lamb, I would probably, or like just had Lamb or just had Pickens, I'd probably be out
Mm-hmm.
on it. But with the double, I think it's okay to do, even if it does like, because I think the argument against is it narrows your window a little for week 17.
Yeah, of course.
But we've
But
spent so much capital on that game. Like, we kind of already have narrowed our window a little bit by, we picked four of our players are in that game already, or five of our players are in that game
mm-hmm.
already. So, yeah, it feels fine to do that. The only
Or another
downside is
way we
maybe then we
can.
wouldn't want Tua. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say part of my thinking was just that if we did go with Dak, we could definitely just leave it with them two,
Yeah.
give us an extra pick somewhere else. Everybody after us has a quarterback, and we could dare them to take Dak unstacked. Let's do it like this. I'll put him on there. But do you like any of these running backs or receivers on the board good enough to
Uh,
take and try to push Dak?
Probably not receiver. It would just be if you like Najee or Bashal Tutin over him. But we can take Dak here too.
We ran out of time, so we got Dak. I was thinking about Tootin. I'm not a Najee guy, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
No,
So you want to just be done? And I'm thinking we just be done at quarterback. If we're playing in the finals, buddy, I think we'll be okay with that game stacked up as much as it is. That's the way I
yeah.
look at it.
And maybe if we push Tua and he comes back to us like really late because he falls sometimes, maybe we
Mm-hmm.
look at scooping that value since we have the stack. But we definitely
Oh
don't
yeah.
have to look at him at ADP or anything like that.
Mm-mm. All right. Tootin's still out there.
hmm And I'm thinking running back over these receivers right here, unless you really like I'm not really in on Mims, but if you really like Williams or Besh, I'm fine with that too. But I'd probably lean running back.
I am not a best guy. I don't think I've drafted him yet. I can't do it with him. Mims I'm okay on. Williams I only take if I take May. Let's go ahead and get Tootin. We were thinking about him last
Yeah.
round, so it sounds like a better pick this round.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that worked out great because we still got the running back we were looking at and we got our double stack. That feels great getting both of those guys.
And Pollard and JT both have, really late bye weeks. So essentially we have time for the rest of our running back room to develop.
Right. Right. And that works out good with like you said, too, with the late bye weeks is actually pretty helpful. But I think getting those two guys, like, they're going to really hold down our running back room every week. So we can
Hmm.
put a little bit more contingent guys or a little riskier guys with some upside to give us that chance to like supercharge it. But we don't really have to go with like safer guys who are more floor plays, like a Najee, for example, someone like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, so far, like, yeah, I'm really happy with how this went, like, pretty much every turn. I think we're building, like, a really great team.
It's definitely got a chance.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, in any of these, it's a sliver of a
Right.
chance, but I think we're doing about as good as we could have with how the boards fell to us and everything. I think it's coming together really good.
So have you made any like notable finals or anything like that?
Um, no, I've just made a puppy final once. That's it. I made like one puppy final, but nothing else. I didn't do like too well in that, so like a couple hundred
I
bucks or
uh,
whatever.
I always tell people, man, I had the shittiest best ball luck.
Yeah,
2 years ago was the first year I started playing really, really heavy. Let's make this pick first, then we'll talk about it.
all right.
Um,
We could go Ferg unless you think that's a little bit
but
too much, or we could grab like Ray Davis. I think Ferg, Goddard, Ray Davis is kind of what I'm looking at.
you know what? I like Davis, so let's play it this way. Let's go Davis, And
All right.
then if he comes back around to us, maybe then go ahead and take Ferg.
Yeah, I think that's okay to do. It might be a little
Little
bit
too much, you
much,
think?
but I think we're fine doing it. I'm not against it at all. I like Ferguson as a player. I think he's a decent price where he goes. So, and I think it's debatable whether it's too much or not because Dak isn't. He's a little mobile, but he's not super mobile at this stage in his career. Running game shouldn't be too strong. Dallas might be very
Defense isn't
pass
a,
heavy.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Defense isn't that great, and it's one of those things where, like, okay, if it is a down game for Lamb, they could still very well be in a shootout, and Pickens have a touchdown, and Ferguson have six for 60 and a touchdown at least or something. I don't know. You want to
Mhm.
grab him ADP wise? He's the best on the board. We're getting a little discount on him,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
and like I said,
Um.
honestly, like if we get to week 17 and we have this game overstacked too much, oh well. But
Yeah.
it could just be the game you need, and if it's the game you need, whoo, we have it.
Yeah. Yeah. We have every piece you could want, pretty much. Hopefully Terry McLaurin has a bad week. That's about the only guy we
Yeah,
don't have.
right.
Yeah.
Jaden runs it in for 3 touchdowns, and he hits our lineup over Dak. But Lamb and Ferguson went off, but Pickens had a monster week 16 to help get us there when Lamb was quiet. You
Right.
know,
Right.
you tell yourself all the stories.
Or like that idea too. Like I think like Dallas has a little bit of a light week earlier, and Jaden being our elite QB like carries us there, carries our Dallas there, and then
Mm-hmm.
Dallas goes nuclear in that game, right? Where Lamb and Dak aren't super high owned, or like you said, vice versa. Like one team doesn't do great, but the other team is hot those first two, and then week 17, the other team is the one that's like going nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean that feels really good.
All right, let's go see what my buddy Mark's doing over here. He started Bijan,
Okay.
Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Omarion. I like him. I'm in on Ridley this year. Montgomery and Judkins. Took old man Kelsey, Fields, Brown, Stevenson, another running back. Pitts, Cam Ward paired up with, I think he took Ridley, we said. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So can you scroll back up to the top, like
Yep.
his? Okay, yeah. I think maybe like it's a little light at receiver because his fourth receiver I believe is Hollywood. But
Yeah,
I
I
think
was
with
just
those
thinking
first
that.
three, he doesn't feel too bad. The running backs are super strong. Quarterback feels good. He got both his quarterbacks stacked. Um, I think that
Oh, it's
feels
getting
pretty
kind of
solid
close to us.
overall. Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's see what we want to do here. What are you thinking? We got two running backs. We got our four. Maybe start pounding some more receiver depth before it dries up.
Yeah, I would
Bryant,
lean Brian's fine, yeah. I like
or
him.
you got somebody else you like? I'll put him on there. But you got somebody
Uh
else you like?
Bryant, Pierce, Thielen, any of those three. I like all three of those guys.
Let's go for the late season upside.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
from
because
what I
we have
remember,
we have
we have
solid.
Debo, we have Tyreek, we have Lamb, we have Pickens.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's always, if we feel like we need one more early season play, there's always the Slaytons of the world later in the draft, or Michael Wilson, or somebody like that.
Yeah, we should be solid at the early season. So I guess yeah, we don't really need like a Thielen. Um I like I do like Pierce where he goes. I like Braylon here too. I think either of those feel pretty good. We could. So are you thinking two tight end or three tight end?
I think we could throw a third one on there at some point since we're sticking with two QBs unless Tua comes around to us. Tua's not
Oh,
there
he's
anymore.
gone.
Somebody took Tua. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'd be okay doing three tight ends then. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Um, Yeah,
So
maybe wait later. There's some decent tight ends in the 17th and 18th round you can tack on as a third. You want to do Braylon here? I know you said you like him. A little bit of a discount.
yeah,
Might get
no, that
lucky.
feels
Brees
good.
could get traded still or something. I don't think it'll happen, but you never know.
Yeah, well, and I mean, he might mix in, just in that
Mm-hmm.
offense in general. They've talked about doing a little bit more of a committee, and he even though he maybe wasn't the most efficient last year, he had times where he looked good, and he is a very very young player. So I like the upside of him, and also just with having the rushing QB, like that might vulture some touchdowns. But having a
Mm-hmm.
rushing QB generally increases efficiency for the running backs a lot. So I think that feels, I think Braylon it feels really good where he goes. Like, what's really the difference between a Braylon Allen and like a Trey Benson and what they showed
Mm-hmm.
last year?
No,
Maybe it's
exactly.
that
And
Brees is a little stronger, a little bit more healthy, but as a player, I don't really know much of a difference between the two.
especially you were talking about the quarterback, is actually good for the running backs, whereas some people are like, no, they take away all their touchdowns. But I think especially with Braylon Allen type, you're kind of stronger backs that's going to do more north-south running versus, your more scat back type guys. If anything, it almost, opens the holes up for them because when they're doing all their read options, you got to worry about field hitting those edges. Defensive ends have to stay wider, so it tends to make those gaps up the middle a little bit bigger.
Right, right. Yeah, no, yeah, that's like well put. Yeah, I think and I think we're good at running back then, right? Because we have five
What
now
we
that
have
we feel
five?
pretty good about.
Yeah, I mean we
Yeah.
started with JT and Pollard. We know will be out there, and then we have three guys who, I think we did good because Tootin, Davis, and Allen are all three guys who we could get a usable week here and there from them, even with the starter not hurt. But then,
Hmm.
if the starter is, and who knows, Tootin may end up being the starter. No one really knows what's going to happen in Jacksonville.
Well, I think Cohen likes to do that committee thing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like, even if Tootin's not the main guy, he'll probably get some work, and he has that speed ability where he can score from anywhere on the field. So he might be able to hit your lineup a week or two out of the year on very limited touches.
All right, we're on the clock here. There's a couple decent tight ends. We could do like a Slayton to help us out till the
Um,
rookies hit our lineup if you
so
like him.
I like Coker or a tight end, one of the two.
Sanders or Chig, which one you like?
Uh,
Ow, my bad, man,
Dalton
my
Schultz it
bad.
is. No,
Dalton
that's good.
Schultz it is. I don't like Schultz. I'm a Texan fan and I don't like Schultz, so that's bad.
Yeah. He gives us a little bit of floor though. He'll be out running routes probably every week, so
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
doesn't feel
My
too
bad, man.
bad.
I should have had somebody queued up there for us just in case.
Oh yeah,
20-second
no,
clock got me.
I saw it going down. That's why I was trying to say it quick, but I mean getting Schultz there, that doesn't feel too bad. Like Schultz versus Chig or Jatavion, it's like I don't know. None of
Hey,
those guys
it
are
could
super
help us.
great.
We were just talking about having it in the playoffs and stuff too. The Texans, I know. Hold on, I got it pulled up on this other computer. They basically have three dome games. I mean, they play at home against Arizona, they play at home against Vegas, and then they play at the Chargers. So definitely, a
We're up.
nice. Oh, almost did it again. Who are we gonna go with? Just call somebody out, receiver.
I like Coker probably, unless you like someone else.
No, we'll just grab him. I'm okay with him. I don't want to take
I
the time to look through it too much and then miss my other pick again. But I guess I had him start, so I wouldn't miss him.
Yeah, I think he maybe gives us a little more upside than some of those other guys. Like I don't know, like he's a little risky, but I think right now if we're looking at receiver, we really want to take like riskier upside guys. We have solid guys at the top.
Mm-hmm.
We want
Yeah.
guys who can really like break out right now, right? We don't want a lower end like we don't we don't want like a floor play.
So who do you like when it gets back to us then in the 18th? Who's your round 18 most upside receiver you got that goes in 18?
I mean, I like Wicks. I think
I was
he's
just
kind of
about to
like
say him too, but I don't think he'll get
okay.
back to us.
I think he's kind of the forgotten man there, and like if he ends up having a good role, or especially there's been some rumors if they trade Dobbs, that could feel. Oh yeah, that one would be okay too. But
I've
that
been
that could
taking
feel
him
really good.
sometimes at the end.
Yeah, yeah, I
We'll
could
see
see
what comes
that.
back to us.
Um, and then, or yeah, scroll down. So okay, Calvin Austin went. I've been taking some Calvin Austin lately. He's been moving up a little bit though, so it makes sense
Yeah,
he's up
I
there.
have too. I mean, he's probably got the number two job there, unless Rogers comes and makes some trade for Lazard.
Your buddy Mark says he's taking Wicks if available. He will
Well,
not
we
be
picked
available.
before you, Mark. So
Yeah,
good luck.
yeah, not happening.
Watch the board. Watch the board.
Oh, there he goes.
But neither one of us are getting them.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to
Uh,
just do you like the Ty Felton guy from Minnesota? I kind of think he fits that. Just really high upside. Maybe
yeah,
maybe Addison's hurt or something in the playoffs, and he's out there running routes as a deep guy.
yeah. I mean,
Take him and
I'm in
call it a
on him if
day,
you
or
like him. Yeah, I like him. I like Horton. Any of those guys. I mean, I think you're making similar bets with any of them. So,
mm-hmm.
and
uh,
Minnesota, they inspire a little more confidence as an offense than like Seattle with Horton. So
yeah.
yeah, I like that pick.
Hey, I tell you what, man. I think I like this team. We got Jaden and Dak at QB. Then we went with our running back room. We stayed at five with JT, Pollard, Tootin, Davis, and Allen. We got firepower up top with Lamb, Hill, Pickens, Debo. Got the rookies, Abuka and Bryant, Coker and Felton there at the end of the room. Johnu, Ferguson, and unfortunately, because I was sleeping, Dalton Schultz. But Dalton Schultz could give us a timely big game, and it could work out for us. Let's go
Yeah, I
see what
mean,
Mark did.
yeah,
He finished with a 2.583. Fields and Ward, that's you really need Ward to be special. Barkley, Hampton, Montgomery, Judkins, Stevenson. Can't argue with that RB room. I like that he left it at five after putting so much early into it.
yeah, great RB room.
Wilson, Harrison, Ridley, Brown, Keenan Allen, Lockett, Alston, Wilson at receiver. That was nice. At least he threw Lockett on there, because with only having a QB room of Fields and Ward, he really needs Ward to be a hit. And if Ward is a hit, then he's definitely going to bring probably old man Lockett along a little bit. Probably could have got him a little bit later, but
I
Kelsey,
wonder,
Pitts, and Chig.
I wonder a little if Mark's still in the chat. Were you gonna take Rogers in the 18th? Rogers went right before him. He got both Pittsburgh guys with his two picks before that.
Ah,
Oh no, he took Wilson in the last round. Okay,
ah,
maybe
yeah,
not.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not. Yeah. But yeah, I think that build's okay. I think it's maybe pushed a little bit too far at receiver. Just with the top I mean the top 3 are really good. They should be able to hold it, but I think just oh yeah, with Wicks. Yeah. Yeah, I think it has volume, so it could be okay. It might just be a little bit light capital, but I think you feel okay with that team. It has a great strength at running back, so that might kind of carry you through. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an all right build, yeah.
Let's
But I feel really happy with how our team came out. Like I think we played the board pretty much perfectly. It came out like about as good as we could have hoped. I was oh, it's like you got to go back to your main like season because Eliminator is like a different set.
ah back to what?
Like
Oh,
right
okay. I got you.
above.
I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to learn this underdog world,
Oh,
man.
yeah,
You got to
yeah.
remember, I'm the DraftKings guy coming over.
Yeah, no, they mess with their layout all the time. It makes it a little bit tough sometimes.
Like I said, I'll go back some other time and add all the other stuff on there, but I want to make sure I get you on there.
Yeah, but I'm like really happy with how that team came out. I think how we played the board and everything, I think we don't really have any really like real weaknesses on the team. I think it came
Yeah.
out really good. We got a lot of stacks, a lot of correlation. And even with that Miami thing not getting Tua, we still do have that game stacked if it hits. We just need one of
Mm-hmm.
our quarterbacks to hit more. But with Jaden and Dak, that's completely possible over like Tua. And we still do have that game with Amika and Hill Janu. So we actually do have another out too.
Yeah.
So I think it feels really good.
Check. I started briefly talking about it earlier. Let's see. It's the top ones. Yeah, this is it. So remember I was telling you about it? Maybe
Oh, the hyper
tomorrow. I don't know.
fragile,
I'm
yeah.
Yeah, I'm making a video about this one. Um, I purposely did it this way. It was an extreme thing. It was Gibbs, not Bijan. So we went Gibbs, Taylor, then we grabbed Allen, then I grabbed Cook, Kittle, and Judkins, but then I stopped, and then I took Diggs, Hawkinson, Coleman, Williams, Kirk, Palmer, Leggett, threw Richardson on there just to be something with Allen. Finished it up with Pierce, Lockett, Wicks, and Felton. And when I got done, I was like, you know what, man? This team isn't dead. It's got a chance. I mean, Allen at QB, running back room. There, I worked it out, to where I got four guys I liked, and their bye weeks all, kind of didn't overlap. So I always have at least three of them, playing
Mhm.
for me. And then just really trying to attack receiver room with pure volume.
Yeah, yeah, and I think with a team like that, you did it pretty well where you have really strong running backs, you have like crazy strong tight ends. You
Yeah.
got Allen as the elite, like hopefully carrying you kind of every week. And then kind of like you said too, it's like, well, with Diggs, like Diggs might end up being a huge hit if he's healthy week 1, and you got Kyle Williams kind of getting that
Yeah,
double
well,
bet on New England.
I was trying. Let's see. Let's look where he went on the board. I
Right,
really
right.
wanted.
Oh,
There he
one pick
is.
before you.
Yeah, I got sniped. That's what I took Williams here. Think I was debating in my head, should I take May and then Williams, or should I take Williams and then May? I know everybody loves Drake May, but I also knew I already had Diggs, so I was like, well, if I take Williams, there's a decent chance I can get it to flip back to me. But now he went one pick before me, and I knew everybody had quarterbacks already. Like that guy had Kyler, so I was like, I might be able to make him get Drake to come back around to me. That was my original plan there.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I don't
I mean,
know.
I think that's a good way to play it. But yeah, I think that team, I mean, that team's
Like I said,
definitely
I got to the
viable.
end not expecting it to feel that good, but I was like, man, I actually don't hate this team. It's pretty decent. It
Yeah.
could work.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looked pretty good. Yeah.
But anyways, man, thanks for being on here tonight. Hartman Fantasy Football. Most of y'all know him. Go check him out. Hit all his bells too, so you know when he's streaming. It was fun, man. I think we drafted a good eliminator team. I think we drafted a good BBM team. We'll see how they play out throughout the season.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I think we built some really good teams. And yeah, it was a lot of fun being on. It's always fun, like, kind of drafting a team together. Like, maybe you don't agree on every player, but it's just fun, like, kind of talking through how you feel about different players, different, like, who do we take here or there. It's always a
Hmm.
good time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely fun. Definitely a lot. Definitely better than just sitting here by yourself talking and doing it. And it's a good way to mix it up, right? Because like there are players that others are in, and like I don't know, me personally, if I bring a guest on, if there's a player that like I'm not that in on, unless I just hate them, if my guest likes them, I look at it as okay, this is a good time to go ahead and pick them, and now I'm getting at least a little exposure, and almost like you're making me click the guy that I shouldn't be out on, but I am out on.
Right, right. It's a good way to vary, especially when you're playing such high volume, like you're gonna end up lower on those guys. So it's a great way to just get off kind of your comfort clicks. Cause also even if you love a guy, football is such a physical sport. You don't want to be so overweight. Like I did it last year with Rice actually, which I'll do it again. Let's see how it works this time. But But like last year, I was super on Rice. First 2 weeks, oh man, this is great, greatest decision ever, blah blah. And then his knee breaks, and it's
Yeah,
not so great. But
yeah.
yeah, it gets you out of that kind of comfort zone, gets you into maybe a little different builds, a little different players. Yeah, I think we built some really nice teams, so it worked out really good.
All right, man. Well, thanks. I'm gonna get off here, get to bed. My kids still got school for 3 more days. It's stupid. They're out of school today. They turned in their computers and stuff on Friday, so they're gonna go to school for 3 days and do absolutely nothing. But it is what
Yeah,
it is. State's gotta get their attendances and stuff like that. So
yeah. All right, well, thanks for having me on, man. It was a fun time.
for
And
sure,
you ever want to have me on
anytime.
again, just let me know.
Will do, man. Take it easy.
All right, you too. All right, see you. Peace.
Bye.